11, and I'm just going to read it. It says, "For I know the plans and thoughts that I have for you, says the Lord, plans for peace and well-being, and not for disaster." God knows the plans that He has for your life. And since before you was formed, He knew you in your mother's womb. You know, you could just say, before you were in your mother's womb, put your name in there, and it says, "I knew you." God already knew who you was, you know, and who He called you and created you to be. Yeah. But do you think sometimes, like, we can resist the plans of God? I mean, I have sometimes in my life where you sort of resist the plans that God has for you. You want to do sort of things your way. Do you think sometimes we resist His plans?
Yeah, I think we do. I think sometimes we think, this is the way I want to go, and then God's telling you, no, this is the way I want you to go, and then suddenly you're going down that route, and then you're like, oh, I didn't expect to be here, like, and suddenly I'm there. So, like, yeah, you try and resist it because you're like, yeah, but I didn't want this. Like, I don't want to do this. And He's like, no, you're in an area of you're in like a stage of your life where you're suddenly in this stage and you're like, oh, am I meant to be here? Is this actually what I'm meant to be doing? I don't want to do this. So you pray that prayer of, Lord, where do you want me to be? Where do you want me to go? And then you're waiting. And you're waiting and you're like, oh, okay, so I'm still in this situation, I'm still in this job that maybe I don't really want to be in. And then suddenly you're having all these, like, not quite ideas, but things that sort of happening, and then suddenly you're like, oh, so this is sort of the route I'm going down now, whether you like it or not.
You know, probably listening and you sort of a bit confused and you thinking, is this God? And, you know, but we were talking earlier, wasn't really about your circumstance with your job, and Becky prayed, you know, and sometimes it takes prayer. You got to pray to and seek God to know the plans that He has for your life.
I prayed it was a while back, and I said, okay, Lord, what am I meant to be doing? Where am I meant to be going? And I had, and then I found myself looking on a website for a course. So I was like, okay, I'm looking on this website for a course. Like, okay, I'll just do a course. And a counselling course came up. So I was like, okay, I'll try out this counselling course. So I went and signed up to it and got on with it and really enjoyed it and thought, that's what I want to be. I want to be a child counsellor. That's what I want to do. I want to get to the bottom of what's going on when they're younger, so that when they get older, like they know how to deal with things and things like that. So that was my idea.
That was your plan.
That was my plan.
That was your plan.
So I did the course, and then I was like, okay, Lord, what now? Where am I going to go with this? And there was like not any work out there. There was like no sort of that sort of job. And then a TA job sort of came up. Well, a TA course came up, because then I was like, if I can't find a job, I'll do another course. The TA course came up. So I don't want to be a TA.
No. She didn't want to be a TA.
I didn't want to be a TA. and I was like, you know what? Okay, let's do this course. Yeah. It was like screaming at me. So I did the course, and then you had to have a work placement. So I got on this work placement, and then I got the job, and I was like, I really don't want to be doing this job, Lord. Like, why am I doing this job? Then I sort of started to see the counselling side of the course that I'd done does actually help being a TA, because you're helping these kids on a daily basis. Like, you're there, you are that counsellor with those kids on a daily basis. You're getting to know them, they're talking to you, and I was like, oh, makes sense. That makes sense.